Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Today, I have a list of the top 10 most immersive VR games. There's no question that VR is the most immersive way to play your games, but all of the games on today's list have specific elements that take their immersion to the next level. Now I'm rating them based on 6 specific elements. Do they have immersive environments? Do they tell a compelling story? Are they non-linear? How are the VR mechanics implemented? And for the combat titles, does it include both melee and ranged weaponry? Now there are of course links and timestamps to everything we'll be discussing, but before we jump in, this video is brought to you by Kiwi Design, my favorite site for VR accessories. They're currently celebrating their 4-year anniversary, and you can get 20% off amazing items like their Quest 2 Elite strap, custom controller grips, link cables, and much more. They even have snap-on upgradable headphones that you can pre-order, and I'm actually giving away a Kiwi Elite strap with built-in battery pack. There's a link to the Kiwi site and my giveaway down in the description. And don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 5% off and to help support this channel. Now, first up on our list is Skyrim. Now, out of the box, Skyrim VR has some serious immersion breaking issues. Both the UI and physics system is absolutely atrocious, and low quality textures look extra bad from a VR perspective. But once you spend some time adding some mods to this title, you can create a whole new world that you never want to leave. Stunning graphics, gesture-based spellcasting, a full-on physics system, and countless hours of content to explore. The mods even go as far as allowing you to activate your dragon shouts with your own voice, and even activate fans around your house to simulate weather conditions. Now that right there is some true immersion, but unfortunately, like I said, it doesn't come out of the box, and you'll need to add all of this after the fact. Now, another title that needs an additional external boost for some extra immersion is Star Wars Squadrons. Personally, this is one of the most immersive games I've ever played, but I did it with both a HOTAS and a motion simulation chair, so that's basically cheating. But if you slim down to just HOTAS support, which is much more reasonable, you have a game that is an absolute dream come true to Star Wars fans. The lengthy campaign has you jumping in the cockpit of iconic Star Wars starfighter ships. Just hearing those very distinct TIE Fighter engine sounds or X-Wing blasters will truly trigger some nostalgia. This is really the only opportunity you will ever get to actually step into the cockpit of these ships. I've never actually felt more present in the Star Wars universe, except maybe with Vader Immortal. You once again get to fulfill a childhood Star Wars fantasy, and it's made all the better by getting up close and personal with Darth Vader himself. That moment can send chills right down your spine, and it's one of the elements that makes VR so impressive. You also get to wield a lightsaber, deflecting blaster bullets back at the enemy, and finally wield the Force by actually waving your hands around. And you'll do all of this while inside of the stunning iconic set piece of Mustafar. But maybe you're not a fan of Star Wars and enjoy a more true-to-life experience. Well, in that case, we have Walkabout Mini Golf. It's such an amazing true-to-life imitation of mini golf that my daughter once ran across the room chasing the mini golf ball and slammed right into a wall. Talk about immersion level over 9,000. The overall presence was strong enough for her to forget that she's not actually on a mini golf course. And when it comes to mini golf courses, Walkabout is capable of delivering much more than we get in reality. So what I'm saying is there's basically no reason to ever go outside and touch some grass. Now, while we're focusing on presence, we have to talk about Phasmophobia. If you ever wanted to feel like a ghost hunter, this is the closest you'll get without leaving your house. It's an excessively immersive title that might be too much for some to handle. While this is also a flat screen game, the VR elements are handled surprisingly well. Being able to hold up a cross against evil spirits, strategically placing cameras throughout a haunted house, or just shoving yourself in a closet to hide, all translate surprisingly well in VR. Now, you also might want to pack a pair of diapers because that immersion is all about creeping you out, and it does a phenomenal job. Now, if you're looking for some excellent combat, we have Blade and Sorcery. This is an absolutely fantastic sandbox title with some of the best melee combat out there, a huge array of different weapons, gesture-based spells, an excellent collection of mods, full body tracking, and the developers continue to make this game better and better. It's a fantastic title to jump in, lose yourself in the combat, and just create some really cool content. But if you're looking for additional elements, why not tackle a zombie-infested world in Resident Evil 4? The previous items on this list all had elements that made them highly immersive, mainly due to their environments and some of their mechanics. Well, not only does the Quest 2 Resident Evil port also feature immersive environments and well-done mechanics, it also features a lengthy and compelling storyline, something that tends to be lacking from VR games. Now, due to the nature of this game being a port, Cutscenes and some of the mechanics can be immersion breaking, but they're handled extremely well for what they are. Now, if you want a similar experience that enhances the overall mechanics beyond Resident Evil, we have Into the Radius. Being dropped into this crazy post-apocalyptic world filled with anomalies and shadow creatures, as a compelling story is drip-fed to you, and you have to scavenge for materials just to survive, amounts to a truly immersive game that absolutely sucks you in. There's a massive attention to detail that lends itself so well to VR. It might seem like a minor thing, but being able to pick up a cigarette, light it, and smoke it in-game is one of the 1,000 little items that help you feel more immersed in this world. The freedom also found in its non-linear nature also helps with the overall immersion. But continuing to up the scales in terms of immersive environments, compelling storytelling, and excellent VR mechanics, we have Half-Life Alyx. While it might not have all of the items that some of our previous title had, what it does do, it does better than anyone else. From the moment you are dropped into this game and look around the city, it has such a powerful wow factor. It absolutely feels alive and real, and the fact that you could go around grabbing objects, breaking glasses, and drawing on walls just helps to maintain that overall immersion. The fact that it features some of the best graphics that VR has to offer also highly contributes here. It also has a highly captivating storyline that sucks you right in. Some moments are absolutely terrifying, and mechanically it feels excellent, and my only complaint would be a lack of melee combat. Generally, you can't see how good a VR game is from a flat screen video, but one of the most common comments I receive on my channel is, "Oh my god, what game is that at timestamp XYZ?" And it always ends up being Half-Life Alyx. Unfortunately, a lot of those Quest gamers just don't know what they're missing. Now, for almost 3 years, Quest gamers were missing another experience, and that was Boneworks. I'm going to slam both Boneworks and Bonelab together for this next one, because these titles offer up unmatched VR physical mechanics. When you're not experiencing the jank, they are an absolute dream come true, and every 10 seconds, something pretty amazing happens. Now, Bonelab ups the ante by allowing you to adjust your avatar, which is a mechanic in VR that's not done often, and I'm always begging for it. VR is all about perspective, and suddenly being able to turn into a much larger, smaller, or faster entity is just a truly powerful experience. Both the melee and range combat remain unmatched from any other VR title, and this more than makes up for the fact that the game doesn't have a compelling storyline, and most of the campaign environments are all staged out, so it's really just a sandbox. But right now, we are heading into the full package titles. Now again, that is not to say that these are the best games. The list is just ordering them by how many immersive elements they have. It just also happens that these are all phenomenal games. And speaking of which, we have Asgard's Wrath. It's probably one of the only other titles out there that can stand up to Half-Life Alyx in many different ways. Stunning graphics, immersive environments, and a compelling storyline that knows how to utilize VR. Perspective is something I mentioned for Bonelab, and Asgard's Wrath integrates this right into the storyline and gameplay mechanics. You will be switching from both mortal and godlike perspective. To witness a godlike attack being thrown at your mortal presence, but suddenly rising to a godlike stature in order to battle back, is an experience that's so much more immersive in VR. The combat is solid and there's a lot of variety. You also have these pets that you can order around and even throw them power-ups during combat, and jumping into a godlike viewpoint in order to solve puzzles is a tried and true VR mechanic. So when it comes to immersion, Asgard's Wrath is right near the top of my list and probably sits side by side with The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Right from the very beginning of this game, they set the tone with an extremely creepy environment. That sensation permeates through the entire game. It also has some of the most satisfying melee combat as you slam weapon after weapon into the skulls of enemy zombies. And not only is the game non-linear, but it also allows for some compelling storyline choices. So with all of this working for the title, it's no surprise that a highly anticipated sequel is now on the way. Now, I'm sure I might have missed one or two highly immersive games, so I want to know what they are down in the comments right now. And while not all of these games may be your favorite, or even right for you, each and every one is highly immersive and a great example of what VR is good at. But that was today's VR video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. And as always, I will see you guys on next time.